Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please join us in another class on study of Srimad Bhagavatam. Today we'll be covering Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 55, the History of Pradyumna. Hare Krishna. Please join us for Jai Mother prayers. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari. Gopi Jana Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam.
Tato Jayam Mudiryet.
Tato Jayam Udiryet.
Shrutam Swakatha Krishna.
Shravtam Sa Katha Krishna.
Punya Shamana Kirtanaha.
Punya Shravana Kirtana.
Hridayantasto he Bhadrani.
Hridayantastoya Bhadrani.
Vidunoti Suhasatam.
Vidunoti Suhritsatam.
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu.
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu.
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya.
Bhagavate Uttam Shloke.
Bhagavate Ruttam Shloke.
Bhaktir Bhavti Nashtaki.
Bhaktir Bhavti Nashtaki.
Hare Krishna. So please join us in the study of Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 55, The History of Pradyumna. Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 55, Verse 1. Shri Shuka Uvacha.
Shri Shukavacha.
Kamastu Vasudevamsho.
Kamastu Vasudevamsho.
Jagada Pragarudra Manyuna.
Dagdha Pragarudra Manyuna.
Deho Papatti Bhuyas.
Deho Papattaye Bhuyas.
Tam Eva Pratyapadyata.
Tameva Pratyapadyata.
Shri Shuka Uvacha.
Shri Shukavacha.
Kamastu Vasudevamsho.
Kamastu Vasudevamsho.
Dagdha Pragarudra Manyuna.
Dagdha Pragarudra Manyuna.
Deho Papatti Bhuyas.
Deho Papattaye Bhuyas.
Tam Eva Pratyapadyata.
Tameva Pratyapadyata.
Please. Shri Shuka Uvacha.
Shri Shukavacha.
Shukdev Goswami said,
Shukdev Goswami said,
Kamaha,
Kama,
Cupid,
Tu,
and
and
Vasudeva,
Vasudev,
of Lord Vasudev,
of Lord Vasudev,
Amshaha,
Amsha,
the expansion,
the expansion,
Dagdhaha,
Dagdha,
burned,
burned,
Prak,
Prak,
previously, Rudra,
Rudra,
of Lord Shiva,
of Lord Shiva,
Manyuna,
Manyuna,
by the anger,
by the anger,
Deha, a
Deha,
body,
a body,
Upapattaye,
Upapattaye,
in order to obtain,
Bhuyaha, Bhuya, again,
Tam,
Tam,
to him, Lord Vasudev,
Vasudev,
Eva,
indeed,
Pratyapadyat,
Pratyapadyat,
came back. Translation by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Shukdev Goswami said, Kamdev, Cupid, an expansion of Vasudev, had previously been burnt to ashes by Rudra's anger. Now to obtain a new body, he merged back into the body of Lord Vasudev. Purport. In his Krishna Sandarbha, Anucheda 87, Srila Jiva Goswami cites the following verse of the Gopal Tapani Upanishad 2.40 to prove that the Pradyumna, who is the son of Krishna and Rukmini, is the same Pradyumna who is a member of Lord Krishna's eternal fourfold plenary expansion, the Chaturvyuha. Yatra so samsthitah Krishnas tribihi shaktaya samahitah Rama niruddha pradyumne rukminya sahito vibhu. There in Dwarka, that Almighty Lord Krishna, endowed with his full potency, resided in the company of his three plenary expansions, Balram, Aniruddha and Pradyumna.
The Krishna Sandarbha goes on to explain, with reference to the present verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam, that the Cupid whom Rudra burned up with his anger is a demigod subordinate to Indra. This demigod Cupid is a partial manifestation of the prototype Cupid, Pradyumna, who is a plenary expansion of Vasudeva. The demigod Cupid, being unable to attain a new body on his own, entered within the body of Pradyumna. Otherwise, Cupid would have had to remain in a perpetual state of disembodiment as a result of Rudra's having incinerated him with his anger. In his English rendering of the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.14.30 purport, Srila Prabhupada confirms the absolute status of Pradyumna. Lord Krishna's first son, Pradyumna and Anuruddha, are also expansions of the personality of Godhead, and thus they are also Vishnu Tattva. At Dwarka, Lord Vasudeva is engaged in his transcendental pastimes along with his plenary expansions, namely Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha, and therefore each and every one of them can be addressed as the personality of Godhead, and so forth. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, Pradyumna took birth from the womb of Rukmini before Sri Krishna's marriage to Jambavati, and the Lord's other marriages took place. Subsequently, Pradyumna returned from Shambhara's palace. But before Shukdev Goswami tells of Krishna's pastimes with his other wives, he will narrate the entire story of Pradyumna for the sake of continuity. Srila Sridhar Swami further notes that Kamdev or Cupid, now appearing within Pradyumna, is a portion of Vasudeva, because he is manifest from the element Chitta, consciousness, which is presided over by Vasudeva, and also because he, Cupid, is the cause of material generation, as the Lord states in the Bhagavad Gita 10.28. Prajanas chashmi kandarpaha, of progenitors I am Kandarpa, Cupid. Hare Krishna. Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshitarine Om Jnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tadham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So in the very first verse, many secrets have been revealed, and sometimes even from the Acharya's perspective, many commentaries exist. So in Krishna book, as we see that Lord Krishna, means Srila Prabhupada in this particular chapter, the history of Pradyumna, the birth of Pradyumna, he is narrating that Pradyumna was Jiva Tattva, and now we are here, and that was based on the commentary of Acharyas. And here, in this purport, it's been clearly identified that he is Vishnu Tattva. So now, sometimes when devotees, they read these two chapters, they get confused. And one of the important aspects is that in reality, there is no confusion because Lord is inconceivable. His potency is inconceivable. So if we could conceive him with our puny intelligence, then how could it be? How could he be inconceivable? And sometimes we just need to return to basics. And when we return to basics, everything seems to make sense. So Srila Prabhupada used to tell about this story, the Prime Minister of UK, Mr. Gladstone. Once a delegate comes to meet him. And so this delegate wants to meet the Prime Minister of UK. He has an important business to attend to. And the secretary tells him that the Prime Minister is busy, so why don't you just wait at this moment? So he's waiting patiently. And the the door to the office of Prime Minister Gladstone is shut. So an hour passes and this delegate becomes impatient, and before the secretary could stop him, he goes and opens the door. And what does he see? He sees that Gladstone is on his knees and on his arms on the floor. and there is a small boy riding on his back, as if Prime Minister Gladstone is a horse. And so this delegate is amazed. Now, what is the relationship? There is a relationship of, a delegate and a prime minister, which is much different than the relationship of that boy who's riding on the back of Gladstone because he is Gladstone's own grandson. So delegate understands the position of Gladstone, right? He's the Prime Minister of UK. But the boy only knows that he is his grandpa. So there is a loving relationship and there is a duty-based relationship, right? So that's how, as we look at it, there is a loving relationship a living entity has with the Lord, right? It's a loving relationship, a Jiva Tattva from, engaging in service of Lord Krishna. Jivera Swarupaya Krishna Nityadas. So when you look at it as prescribed duties perspective, based on different bodies that we get, we have our specific duties to perform. And we should perform them to the best of our abilities as an offering to Lord Krishna. Because he says in Bhagavad Gita, Yat karoshi yadashnasi yad juhoshi tadasi yat tapasyasi kantiya tat kurishwa madapranam. Whatever you do, whatever actions we perform, whatever offerings we make, whatever sacrifices we make, whatever austerities we make, and whatever we give away, everything should be done as an offering to Lord Shri Krishna. So that is being revealed by Lord Krishna to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. So this is being done, right, on the prescription and the prescribed duty level, based on our influence of various modes on us, we engage in accordingly, but continue to perform our duty as a family member. Many of us would be holding many different positions. Hare Krishna. So all we need to do is, on the bodily level, continue to do our prescribed duty, but on the spiritual level, rising above, engage in devotional service and take shelter of Krishna. And how does one take shelter of Krishna? So there is a very cool way to understand it. Just like that boy who happens to be the grandson of Prime Minister Gladstone, he just knows that he loves his grandfather. Does he know who his grandfather is? Does he know how intelligent his grandfather is and what kind of position he holds? No, he doesn't care of any of those things. Because to his brain, he has this one relationship. That is all in all for him. And he takes shelter to that relationship. And he is serving his grandfather with love so much that his grandfather makes him ride on his back and becomes a horse. So similarly, Srila Prabhupada expresses that Lord Krishna is so magnanimous that all he is looking at for is our love. And when we make every offering to him with love and devotion, then he becomes merciful and allows us to take part in his wonderful pastimes. And even in the case of, like in the case of Arjuna, he takes the lower position of a charioteer, Parth Sarthi. So in New Delhi, when you go to the temple, they are Radha Parth Sarthi. So he is glorified in his position where he is taken the position lower to his devotee, where everyone is just relishing that Lord Krishna is so magnanimous. And he is just paying attention to, with the loving exchange to his devotee. So in loving exchange, the relationship is completely different. It is at a spiritual level. While on the bodily level, when we see, Srila Prabhupada, gives us very nice instructions that when we worship the Lordships, right, in the temple, even though we have Radha Madan Mohan Ji in our temple, Srila Prabhupada's instruction has been that you should always worship them as Lakshmi Narayan, because that way, with awe and reverence, and you will be on alert and make minimum of offenses. And of course, we always, because of our bodily conditions, because of our imperfect senses, offenses are performed. Yet at the same time, we simply bow down and ask for forgiveness from any offense that we may have performed. Yet at the same time, not use it as an excuse and continue to improve in our service when we are serving the deities as Shri Shri Lakshmi Narayan. So that is the mood of a devotee, to simply take shelter and Acharyas revealed to us there is a very cool way to take shelter, and we call it the cool mantra. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya vivarjanam rakshishyatiti vishvaso gopatitve varnam tatha atma nikshepa karpane shadvidha sharanagati. So there are 6 limbs of surrender, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives a very nice commentary on these 6 limbs of surrender. Anukulyasya sankalpa, accepting everything that is in favor of devotional service. So favorable to devotional service, if there is something going on, we take, accept it. And rejecting everything, pratikulyasya vivarjanam. Pratikulyasya vivarjanam is, pratikul is rejecting anything that is against, not in favor of devotional service. So that is against devotional service. That will drive us away from the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. Rakshishyatiti vishvaso. And having this firm faith, firm determination that Lord Krishna would provide us protection, complete protection. Gopatitre varnam tatha. So again accepting guardianship of Lord Shri Krishna. Atmanikshepa. Atmanikshepa means completely surrendering ourselves. Atmanikshepa. And then karpane, in a humble state, in a meek form, understanding that we are lower than the grass on the street, and to be more tolerant. Our tolerance should rise to be more tolerant than tree. Now grass, when somebody walks on it, it doesn't, it is getting crushed, yet at the same time it doesn't rise up and tries to, attack the walker. Or a tree, vraksha, the very meaning of vraksha is the one that is meant to be cut down. So a tree is meant to be cut down, yet at the same time it provides all kind of facilities to us. When it is alive then, as well as when it is, cut down. So when it's alive, it provides us shade, it provides us fruits, flowers, it provides residence to many birds. And it also provides us many kind of herbs from its bark, from its roots, from its twigs, branches, and so forth. And when it is cut down, then it provides the wood, which can be used as a firewood or even to build houses. And in various kind of, instruments, we use wood. So, more tolerant than the tree. When the tree is being cut down, it's not objecting that why it is being cut down, what wrong it has done. It has this mood of giving only. So that is the mode of giving that we devotees need to develop more and more and become more tolerant to our surroundings. And with this COVID-19 that's going on, there are a lot of things that are happening in the outside world. And understand that the nature of material world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. It is constantly, means again, a place of misery, and it is temporary in nature. Anityam lokam. So that's another way in Bhagavad Gita, it is revealed by Lord Krishna to Arjuna that it is anityam. Anityam is that it is not permanent. And asukham, that there is no happiness. Rather, asukham is opposite of happiness, which is distress. A place of misery. That's what it is. So again and again we hear this message. And so we should understand that Acharyas, they reveal to us, and we should accept as they are revealing to us. At many places it has been given that Kandarpa, the Cupid, is Jiva Tattva, and then at other places it is explained that he is Vishnu Tattva who takes a material body. Well, Lord can do anything, as we discussed yesterday. In the story of a Brahman and a cobbler, and who has more faith, and who is returning back home, back to Godhead early. So there it is very clearly revealed that a devotee accepts as Lord desires. So if Lord is appearing as Vishnu Tattva and desiring to take, a body that normally a Jiva Tattva would take, a material body, then he can do that, because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He can do anything. He is not, limited to our puny intelligence. He can do anything that he desires. And also we heard, as for the material universes, which is only 25% of the whole creation, 75% is the spiritual, is composed of spiritual universes. So of this 25% universes, it has been explained in Srimad Bhagavatam first canto, that Lord expands into first Balaram, who is Adi Guru, and then from Lord Balaram further expansions happens as Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. So these four personalities are Vishnu Tattvas, Vishnu Murtis, Vishnu Rupa. So they are the one who manage the affairs of the material universes. And from Lord Vasudeva comes Pradyumna, and from Pradyumna comes various Cupid forms, right? And when they come, they enter into each of the universes, and they are, they take this position to incite the living entities so that progeny can occur. And somebody could say that in this particular case, in our universe, Kamdev, who is an expansion of Lord Vasudeva, or Pradyumna through Lord Vasudeva, from Lord Vasudeva comes Pradyumna, from Pradyumna comes Kamdev, and his body is burnt by the anger of Lord Shiva. So there is a beautiful story. So we'll quickly cover that story and then cover the history of Pradyumna. And as we understood from the purport, that here Shukdev Goswami doesn't want to interrupt the story of Pradyumna. So even though things that happen later on, in time, he is covering everything now, because at this particular time, in the previous chapter, we heard about the marriage of Lord Vasudeva and, Rukmini. And at that time, she was the only wife. But as we will hear, he is continuing to narrate the incident of Pradyumna, and his stepmothers are also being identified later on. That doesn't mean that, that they happened and Pradyumna came before Lord Krishna married again. So that's revealing that Shukdev Goswami wanted to maintain the continuation of the history of Pradyumna. So once it so happened, this is about Kamdev. How was Kamdev burned? His body was burned to ashes. So it's once upon a time, it just so happened that the demigods were tormented by demons, and they were even enslaved. Many of them were enslaved by demons. And there was this very powerful demon by the name Tarak. And he had meditated on Lord Brahma, and he had received this boon from Lord Brahma that only the son of Lord Shiva would be able to kill him. Now when he asked this in it was a very tricky situation. Lord Brahma granted him this boon, and what had happened in this time? Why did he ask? Because he was like, even demons, they're very intelligent, and they're very, trying to figure out situation how to become immortal. Just like we hear about Hiranyakashipu again, how to become an immortal being. What had happened was that goddess Sati, she had left her body, in the yajna, during the yajna of Yaksha, her father's, sacrificial arena. By invoking the yogic power and, jumping into the fire of yajna. So she had, the whole yajna was spoiled. Then we hear as how Lord Shiva became angry when his associates informed him, and how he brought to life, by breaking one of his jata, this great demon, and he went and destroyed the whole sacrificial arena and chopped off the head of Daksha, and then later on Daksha asked for forgiveness, and then Lord Shiva gave him a head of a goat. And then Daksha was so, he was feeling so lowly and in great distress, he gave it that body. And then he was born again as Daksha, as Prajapati. He took another birth. And at that time he worshipped Lord Vishnu, and he was able to see Lord Vishnu and get his blessing that he will be able to have progeny and increase as a Prajapati. That was his responsibility, a prescribed duty. Now here, Lord Shiva, after Goddess Sati had sacrificed herself, he went into heavy meditation. And Goddess Saraswati, she took birth again as as daughter of Himalaya. So she is known as Parvati. So you can understand how Parvati comes from Parvat. Parvat is, mountain. And Himalaya ranges is the highest peak, so Mount Everest and so forth. So Himalaya is the father, and Parvati marries Lord Shiva. But he is in heavy meditation. He is completely detached from this material world. He is feeling that, his purpose is, he's trying to control himself. Because earlier, when Rudras, they could not control their anger, then they started causing havoc. And at that time, Lord Krishna had instructed them to go in meditation. And this is Shambhu, right? Sadashiv. So he goes into meditation automatically without needing to get the same instruction again. So he's a great devotee. Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. He's the topmost devotee of Lord Krishna. So he's meditating, and all the demigods are now worried that this Tarak demon, it can only be killed by Lord Shiva's son. But if he does not have a son, then there is no hope for us. We will be enslaved by the demons, and they will be ruling us and causing all kind of havoc on the material universe. So they went again and again to Lord Shiva. And finally, they saw that Lord Shiva is in constant meditation. They are not getting much help. They approached Goddess Parvati also, who is also known as Durga, when she takes on the Shatrani form with all the weapons. And at that time, requesting her, but realizing that there is no solution coming, and then for the instructions, again, they take shelter of their spiritual master Brihaspati as well as Lord Brahma. Finally, they come up with a plan. They approach Kandarpa. Kandarpa is Cupid, Kamdev. And they suggest him that he has to shoot arrow at Lord Shiva. And Kandarpa has these flower arrows. When he shoots these arrows, then the senses, they become thousands of times more sensitive to anything that's around us. So they become attractive to anything that's around us. So realizing that this could be dangerous, yet nevertheless he is subordinate to Indra, so he goes and shoots an arrow at Lord Shiva. And we know as how at that time Lord Shiva, he gets up, he performs this great nritya, right? He dances. That is sometimes referred to as Tandav Nritya. At the time of annihilation, Lord Shiva also does similar dance. And his third eye opens up, which is in the middle of his forehead. And he burns, the fire rays come out and they burn Kandarpa, his material body. Yet at the same time, he is in his unmanifested form. And now he is laughing at Lord Shiva that now you can't burn me, you can't even see me, right? And later on, his wife Rati, she approaches Lord Shiva begging for forgiveness. And at that time, understanding the purpose why Kandarpa had to do this, he says that she would be able to see. But then Kandarpa, no one else is able to see Kamdev. And so Rati, is meditating for the blessing of Lord Krishna. And so Kandarpa merges into the body of Vasudev. And Lord Vasudev, in his Dwarka pastime, he is married to Rukmini Devi. And so Pradyumna is born as his first son. So just like, Lord Shiva, had to give birth to a son, so again, that time Kartikeya, also known as Murugan. So he appears as his son, and he was able to kill Tarak. So here, there is a similar incident happening, very similar, that there was this demon Shambhara. He could not be killed by, anyone except son of Lord Krishna and Rukmini Devi. So at that time, as soon as Pradyumna was born, on the 6th day after his birth, Shambhara, who is a demon who has learned various mystic powers from Maya Danav, he goes and he, kidnaps, he abducts this baby, Pradyumna, and he throws him into the ocean. Now what goes around comes around in a very comic way. So there in the ocean, a very big, very powerful fish, swallows the baby Pradyumna. And as we understand, this Pradyumna is Vishnu Tattva, as being revealed by this Acharyas. So this baby is taken up by this fish, this giant fish, which has been caught in the net of the fisherman, along with many other fishes. So this was a very giant fish, and hoping to get great rewards, they offer this fish to Shambhara demon. And Shambhara demon, takes this, passes this fish to his cook to make palatable dishes. And at that time, and again, when the cooks, they are opening up, they're cutting through the body of this big fish, they found a baby in there, a baby boy, who's none other than Pradyumna. So they take the baby boy, and they have an assistant by the name Mayavati. And so Mayavati, she is entrusted to take care of this baby boy. So this baby is being taken care, and she's amazed looking at this baby, so attractive. And at that time, Devashi Narad comes, and he reveals to her that this is she in her previous birth. Mayavati was none other than Rati, the wife of Kandarpa, Cupid. And now, this Pradyumna, the boy she is holding, is actually Kamdev, her husband, who has taken birth because she had been praying for him to get a body. So he has appeared in this form. So she really takes care of him very nicely, taking care that he gets proper bath, proper nourishment, proper care, and very quickly he grows up. So this is, we're talking about Vishnu Tattva. So we don't have to use much intelligence. It's very easy to understand that by Lord's mystic, potency, by his pleasure potencies that are constantly expanding, he can do anything that he desires. So Lord Pradyumna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is growing up very quickly. And then one day he observes that Mayavati has, these desires for conjugal love towards him, and he is addressing it. Oh, what am I observing? That while you have taken care of me as mother, you want to be my wife. So he is expressing, and then at that time she reveals to him that he is son of Lord Krishna and Rukmini Devi, and that Devashi Narad has revealed it to her that he is none other than Kandarpa, Cupid, Kamdev in his previous birth. So, and she is, she was his wife and Rati, and now she wants to, accept him as her husband and that she be his wife. So they agree. And now so the mystic power that Shambhara demon had gained from Maya Danav, he is a very mystical as well as a great architect on the demon side, and he had imparted this knowledge of Maya Jal, we call it normally. So he could do, mystic delusions and mystic acts like rising up in the air, fighting from the air, producing different kind of weapons and throwing it and so forth. However, Mayavati knew even greater mystic power, Mahamaya, which is in the mode of goodness, while this Maya is in the mode of passion and mode of ignorance, mostly in the mode of ignorance, and has demonic influence on it. And demons are generally in the mode of ignorance. Just like people, it is said that in the Shastras as well as Srila Prabhupada in Krishna book says that people who eat meat and fish and eggs, they're actually called demons or Rakshasas because they're in the mode of ignorance. And they're living whimsically. They're not even Shudras. They're trying to usurp the position as showing themselves as kings and, great erudite scholars and aristocratic personalities. But in reality, these are demons posing as such, which is a great burden on earth. And Lord Vasudeva appeared because he wanted to relieve the burden of earth. Now here, Pradyumna is being, informed all of this. Since he is Vishnu Tattva, we can understand his personality of Godhead. He already knows his purpose. Yet at the same time, for materialists who have pure intelligence, it is being revealed just for their convenience that, he is being imparted all this knowledge by Mayavati. And later on, he goes and challenges Shambhara demon. And Shambhara demon comes out because he's been rebuked with many ill names by Pradyumna. So Pradyumna is inciting, hitting him with his words where it hurts the most. On his weak pulse, he's pressing. And so Shambhara demon, he comes out and he starts, beating up Pradyumna with his club. And Pradyumna with his club is counteracting all his attacks. And so after a lot of fight, Pradyumna gives him a huge blow on his chest. And Shambhara demon is, he is feeling like it was a great jolt, could have lost his life. So now he is taking, help from his mystic power, the Maya Jal that he has learned from Maya Danav. And he's rising up in the air and shooting various kind of weapons, and Pradyumna is easily able to, counteract those weapons, and now in the mode of goodness, the knowledge he had gained from Mayavati, he's using Mahamaya, and he's able to remove all the delusions that Shambhara demon is able to produce, and he kills Shambhara demon. And at that time, he and Mayavati, they go to Dwarka. And it is given because he had this Mahamaya power, and of course his Vishnu Tattva. They together appear in the inner quarters of Queen Rukmini. Now when they appeared there, Queen Rukmini was there with her friends and the the queens, the other queens of Lord Shri Krishna, who were the stepmothers of Pradyumna. And because Pradyumna appeared with Mayavati, he resembled Lord Krishna so much that they all kind of dispersed, thinking Lord Krishna has suddenly appeared. And they were looking at this personality that, oh, Lord Krishna, he just came in the inner quarters, because normally Lord Krishna would walk into, he would not just appear like that. And who is this lady with this, young man? And they are thinking, because his ways are similar to Lord Krishna, so they are feeling the same attraction, as they felt for Lord Krishna. Yet at the same time, they start observing minor differences. And they start saying that this is a personality who is like Krishna, but is not Krishna. He's a different personality. And at that time, Rukmini Devi is thinking that, she's getting the motherly feeling. So a mother knows a child very dearly, what a child wants, what a child needs, and how a child looks, how a child feels. So as soon as she sees him, and understands that this is not Krishna, she starts thinking that that one of her sons was abducted once by a demon. And if that son was growing up, he would be about the age of this young man. And thinking thus, the mix starts flowing and her motherly love starts coming out, her affection. And she says, this has to be my son. And at that time, Lord Krishna, enters the quarters along with Vasudeva Devaki and Lord Balaram. And Devashi Narad comes and he narrates the whole incident as how Pradyumna was taken away by Shambhara demon, and how, he was swallowed by a fish. The fish was bought by Shambhara demon and given to cook, where Mayavati was the assistant to the cook, and she took care of the child. When he grew up, she gave him the Mahamaya knowledge, and then he was able to use that mystical, Mahamaya knowledge to defeat Shambhara demon, who was using Maya knowledge in mode of ignorance. And now they have come back. And so everybody embraced Pradyumna, understanding that this is a returned child. This is the first child of Rukmini Devi and Lord Krishna, and that he has returned back home. And he and Mayavati are nicely wedded off. So it ends in a very nice manner. The beginning is very suspenseful and very shocking, where Rukmini Devi, she has just lost her first son, while at the same time he has come back and has increased her pleasure 1,000-folds. And this is all Lord Krishna's pastimes. So sometimes we have to just stay with the basics and understand that Lord's potency is, his pleasure potency, Alhadini Shakti. And Rukmini Devi is said to be his expansion, as Alhadini Shakti, and also as goddess of fortune. Sometimes multiple personalities are seen to be in one. And how could this happen? Sometimes people say, well, this is Lord's potency. He can do whatever he desires, right? And yet at the same time, sometimes because of a weakness of our heart, we are not able to understand. So sometimes staying with basics is very interesting. It reminds me of an incident where one of my friends, he was looking for his cell phone, couldn't find it. And think of a time where you may have just placed your cell phone, you couldn't remember it, you could be searching for, long duration and even hours, wondering where it is, and you forgot to turn its iPhone finder on and so forth. So this friend was not able to find, and then suddenly his daughter, she says, it would be very nice that if they could make a phone that would never be disconnected from its station at one place. And that was the original phone, right? That was the basic definition of the phone. The way they were constructed was, they were connected with a cord on the wall, and the station had a, circular cord coming, spiral cord coming and connecting to the handset. So the response made everyone laugh, because sometimes we just stay with the basics when we won't come to these situations. And another situation is where people are getting new kind of, ailments, new kind of diseases, sicknesses in today's world. We are talking about COVID-19, yes, that is something new. But there was an interesting thing. Once a gentleman, he was, listening to his iPhone when on a treadmill, and he was, disturbed. He was somehow distracted, and he forgot to, continue to walk. He paused for a moment, and what happened was he went back, and he was hearing, he had these earplugs in his ears, and because of that, they just came out with a jerk. And he happened to have like a ringing sound in his ear constantly from that point onward. He went to the doctor, and he came to know he has been, now he is now suffering with a ringing sound in his ear because of the earphones. So yes, new amenities come, they make our life easy, but if we are not cautious, if we are not careful, they also create new type of diseases in this material world. So this place is a place of, constant misery. And all we need to take is, once again, instead of getting bewildered and become anxious and try to find different solutions, all we need to do is take shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. Because that's where we can get that peace of mind, we can get that fearlessness, we can get that, the happiness, the transcendental bliss. And we can transcend the three modes of material nature to be able to constantly engage in devotional service and thus seek our goal. Our goal is to attain Lord Krishna, and that goal can be attained when we engage in devotional service. And how can we enhance our devotional service? Srila Rupa Goswami gives this solution very simply. Utsahan nishchayat dhairyat tat tat karma pravartanat sangataga sato vritteh sadvir bhakti prasiddhati. So there are 6 symptoms of, enhancing one's devotional service. Utsahan. Always be enthusiastic. So the first factor is that we should always be enthusiastic in serving Lord Shri Krishna. Srila Prabhupada used to give this example that there is this dancer, and he had to do a dance performance. Next day, a friend of his asked, so how was your dance performance? So this dancer said, actually I could not perform because the ground was not level, it was tilted. He was asked to dance on a hill. And Srila Prabhupada said that a dancer should not refuse to dance, even if it was a hill, even if his dance performance is below par, because that is the true meaning of doing the service. And it's an instruction to us as devotees that even if we may be feeling some kind of impediments, we should still carry out our duties to the best of our abilities. So utsahan, that enthusiasm is an essential element for us to achieve that. Nishchayat, having that determination that even if things are not in our favor, even if times are not in our favor, even if people we are having loving exchanges are not in our favor, we still need to constantly have this loving exchange with them and engage in devotional service, because it is performed joyfully so that they feel attracted. It is sometimes being used, a strange term in Western world that's used is killing someone by kindness, right? Being so kind, and even though they are rebuking us, we become so kind and so loving that they give it all up, they shed it all off, and they realize that this person is so kind to me, why am I being so, rude to such a person? So that is the mood of a devotee. The 6 Goswamis in Vrindavan, they were, honored by the people who are pious, and they were honored by the people who are impious. So all kind of people, even the miscreants, when they saw the 6 Goswamis, Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatana Goswami, Bhatta Raghunath, Jiva, Gopal Bhatta Goswamis, when they saw any of these Goswamis, the 6 Goswamis, they would immediately bow down and pay obeisances. They knew that these are great personalities, because all they knew was to give love. No tinge of anger, no tinge of rudeness, no tinge of attitude sometimes that we see. So none of those should be in our behavior. We should always be in the mood of giving and loving. If we keep that mood, no matter what happens, and take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, we will be safe. We will be rested. We will be experiencing the transcendental pleasure as well as spreading the love of Godhead and sharing it with our devotees, having it in our heart. So you can only give what you have. So if all you have is rudeness, then you will be rude to others. But if you have love for others, then you give love and you become compassionate towards others, understanding that they have a very important role. They are very dear to Lord Krishna because Lord Krishna is residing in everyone's heart. So that is Nishchaya Dhairya. Dhairya is patience. To be able to do this, with determination, with enthusiasm, we have to be patient for Lord's mercy to manifest. It's not going to manifest overnight. It will take its course, and let it take its course. Just understand that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God, that He is the cause of all causes. We cannot become the controllers. He is the only controller. So we have to be patient. Tat karma pravartanat. This reveals, this is the fourth symptom, where following the process of devotion service. Shravanam kirtanam Vishnu smaranam padasevanam archanam vandanam dasyam sakhyam atmanivedanam. So these are the 9 processes of devotional service that Prahlad Maharaj is revealing to his father Hiranyakashipu. Shravanam is hearing. So just by hearing, Parikshit Maharaj attains perfection. Kirtanam, just by chanting the glories, speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, Shuddha Goswami, he attains perfection. Smaranam, just by remembering, Prahlad Maharaj attains perfection. Pada Sevanam, Goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, she attains perfection just by serving the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, who is none other than Lord Krishna at work. Archanam, Prithu Maharaj attains perfection by performing worship of the Arch Vigraha form. So worshipping Lord Krishna, he attains perfection. Vandanam, Akrura attains perfection by singing prayers to Lord Krishna. Dasyam, Hanumanji, he attains perfection. Bajrangbali, he attains perfection by serving Lord Ramchandra, just by serving with love and devotion and with, giving everything that he has. Sakhyam, Arjuna attains perfection by being friend to Lord Krishna. And Atmanivedanam, the 9th process, is by sending everything to Lord Krishna. Daityaraj Bali Maharaj, he attains perfection by Atmanivedanam. And so are the gopis. They are completely surrendered at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So just by taking shelter of Lord Krishna, we can attain perfection. And Gopatitve Varnam Tatha Atmanikshepa Karpanya. So again, taking the guardianship of the Lord and surrendering everything. So Atmanikshepa also comes as one of the 6 limbs of surrender. And Karpanya, in what mode? That we are lower than the lowest, yet at the same time our only shelter is Lord Shri Krishna. So with that loving mode, we have to engage in loving service. We don't have to become a floor mat that anyone can walk over us.
You are doing the 6 principles.
Yes. And Sangatyaga Satovrittahe. Sangatyaga is the 5th symptom, where Atsat Sang has to be given away. So we have to give up the company of materialists. We should not take their association, rather we should give our association to them. That's how we give up that. We don't want to be interested in knowing, what have you been listening to news nowadays, or what are you doing nowadays, or what is the great thing going on nowadays, a rocket is being launched nowadays, what will be the benefit of this, and so forth. Rather, the importance is to tell them that how Lord Krishna is so merciful, and what is the purpose of life? Who am I? Why are we suffering? And help them understand. So Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita reveals confidential knowledge, more confidential knowledge, and most confidential knowledge. Maybe that is something they need to know. Confidential knowledge is, who am I? I am a spirit soul and not this body. That's what Lord Krishna reveals in chapter 2. Then in chapter 7 and 8, Lord Krishna is revealing that I am a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jivera Sarupaya Krishna Nityadas. So I should engage in devotional service. So he is revealing that by performing devotional service, we can attain Lord Krishna. However, in chapter 9, he is giving the most confidential knowledge, which is Ananya Bhakti, which is the pure devotional service. And this is also being revealed in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadya navritam rishikena anukulena Krishna anushilena bhaktiruttama. So, Anyabhilashita shunyam, giving up all kind of varieties of abhilashas, desires, but just taking shelter in the Sharanagati as we are hearing of Lord Krishna, and not being covered by the monastic knowledge or the karma kanda activities. Anukulena Krishna, and performing activities and satisfying Krishna anukul, as Lord Krishna desires. That is the definition of pure devotional service. And we should engage in pure devotional service as much as possible. And how does that start? Simply by raising our hand and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And now comes the sixth element of that helps us by improving our devotional services, Sato Vrittahe, in the association of devotees. So this is not, this yajna for this age is not called Kirtan yajna, it's called Sankirtan yajna. Sankirtan is congregational chanting. And when we have congregational chanting in the association of devotees, following in the footsteps of acharyas, advanced devotees of our spiritual master. And Srila Prabhupada, he is a preeminent Shiksha Guru in ISKCON, as well as he is the founder acharya. So we follow in his footsteps, understanding that it is not so important to understand Lord Krishna, but to realize that he is so loving, that he appears in various forms. He expands into Pradyumna, which is, who is expanding into so many Cupid forms, and each Cupid in each material universe is leading to progeny. So he's inciting people to have children, and that is how people are getting an opportunity, the living entities are getting an opportunity to come to the human form so that they can attain the purpose of life. And we talked about how to break through. So we keep going through the cycle of breakups and breakdowns in material world, but the spiritual outlook is to break away from the ties of these breakups and breakdowns and break through in our life by taking shelter of Lord Shri Krishna and engaging ourselves in devotional service. So here, Lord Pradyumna, personality of Godhead, has now appeared as son of Lord Krishna and Rohini, and he has been nicely, married to Mayavati, who was his wife when he was Cupid. She was Rati, his wife, and everyone is rejoicing. All the residents of Dwarka, they are, rejoicing this great reunion of the parents with their lost son, and who came with a beautiful wife. She was said to be, the most beautiful gem amongst women, and everyone is welcoming them into their hearts and into their homes, and the whole Dwarka seems to be immersed in constant transcendental bliss. Iti Drikswarila Bhiranandukunde, as we hear in Damodarashtakam, that the whole Dwarka is being constantly immersed in this ocean of bliss. And so we should also engage and welcome Lord Pradyumna along with Lord Vasudev, Sankarshan, Aniruddha, and Lord Krishna and Shri Radha Madhav in our heart by chanting the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And take shelter at their lotus feet so that we can be eternally happy. Hare Krishna. Please join us for Nasimadev prayers.
भक्तवीन विनाशन सिंह भगवान की जय, प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की, जनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। हरे कृष्णा।